7:25 in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a good thing I know we're in the pajamas this morning. Otherwise, you'd have seen me in my pajamas despite the fancy shirt and embarrassing the madam and so on, who always complains about the way I'm attired on this program, although she tries her best. But this is a morning when we pay tribute to our TV6 Viewers' Choice Sports Personality of the Year. You've seen him already. You've seen him receiving the award, Sheldon Bisesa. Sheldon, Just give us an idea. When I was just touching on it for you a little while ago about the importance of this award for you. Some people will say, Sheldon Bisesa, how come he win that? And you have cricketers, you have footballers, you have track and field athletes. Do people really appreciate how popular motorsport is in Trinidad and Tobago?
Maybe not as much as it should be, but I think with awards like this, such a prestigious award, and the publicity that we're going to be getting from it is going to probably move the sport a little bit further where it's supposed to be, because motorsport is really a very large sport.
And before we talk about the whole question of what your career has been like, and get some more information on what your career has been like, how did a fella from Marabella end up in redneck country in the United States drag racing with the very best in the world? Does it concern you what is happening with the motorsport sector in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, it does. I would really like to see a proper facility being put in place, proper management, proper standards, proper safety, that you can teach youths and start some form of driving school, so you can prepare people for international arena. Yeah. That's what we really need to do.
And it's very, very popular motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is. I mean, the average youth, once you get your license and stuff, you would want to try and go fast, but you need a facility where you can learn to do it the proper way.
Well, let's hope that the highlighting of your award, let me ask quickly, because some people might be saying, you didn't get all your friends and your family and everybody else to text in quickly to pile up the votes in your favor?
Nah, I don't think so. I think it was a national support. Maybe, people finally show the kind of respect that motorsport needs to get, and it's very impressive. Yeah,
well, impressive indeed, because I mean the number of votes that you won, 1,499, was more than the other four combined. So it just reinforces how many people are fans of motorsport. We just show you the graphic once again. Look how far ahead he is, Sheldon Bisesa, ahead of everyone else. Nothing taken away from the achievements of the other performance, but this was a viewer's choice, and the viewers, by an overwhelming number, over 2,400 votes in total, and nearly 1,500 of those votes going to Sheldon Bisesa. Sheldon, tell us, how did someone from Marabella, who clearly had this need for speed, end up on the drag racing circuit in the United States?
Well, you're driven by a passion, as you go through life, you'll find something that you really love and really want to go all out of. And, you'd really, to prove how good you are, you would need to race against the best in the world. So, I started off in Trinidad, the old Wallafield ships, and did some racing there. Then eventually I went to Puerto Rico, see what it was like, and then to Curacao and Grenada and stuff. But somehow I thought that the Caribbean weren't producing fast enough cars to satisfy my passion. So I decided to go to the US in 2005. Made some friends with some guys there, built a car, and started racing the US circuit.
So you basically built your own car?
Well, no, it's not like I built it personally,
yeah.
but you will buy parts from all the different manufacturers and you put a combination together that I think would outperform the competitors.
How difficult was it to break in to the American circuit, because it's very competitive, very popular? We highlighted one of the meets recently where there were 50,000 people there. I think we're looking at some of the footage right now, and in some cases, as you mentioned, 70,000 could be at a particular event. How difficult was it for somebody from Trinidad and Tobago, without the support in the United States, without the backing of major sponsors in the United States, to get into the American system?
It was very difficult. I mean, you're there on your own, representing Trinidad and Tobago, and against the best and against all the big US teams. But that's just the way the sport is. You need to try and get in front somehow. Let the passion drive you. Try and get the best technology, get the best team going together. Even though you will have a team to help put things together, at the end of the day, it's all up to the driver. to take that car down the track. And, you know, over the years, we did develop some skill and some experience from racing in Trinidad and Tobago because the facilities really weren't that good. So we went out there and you know, just give it your best shot and try to keep the Trinidad and Tobago flag flying as high as possible.
Why did you go with drag racing when you had so many people talk about NASCAR, people talk about your Daytona 500 and so many other stock car racing in the United States? Or what drove you towards drag racing?
Almost all motorsport I love. I love them all, but I'm driven by speed and awesome horsepower. That's what makes me click. I just love the challenge of going as fast as you can go, you know, and driving or controlling very, very large horsepower cars, you know, 5,000, 8,000 horsepower where I want to get eventually. So I'm driven by speed and awesome power.
And there must be a danger element to it. With anything with that sort of speed, that sort of level of preparation, the nature of the fuel and so on, is there a serious risk of a danger element there?
Definitely. It's a sport that at that level you don't want to take any chances when it comes to safety. The rate of acceleration is that fast. I mean, in 60 feet you'll be over 100 miles an hour, and you'll cover that in 0.8 something of a second. So you need to be always aware of what you're doing. You know, try and have your reflexes in place. If you do run into problems, you need to put that thought into motion as fast as you could, because you'll run into danger before you even know what's going on, and you'll be kissing the wall pretty soon.
Have you ever thought about if there have been any accidents that you might have been involved in, or accidents that you would have seen, or at meets that you were involved in, that there would have been pretty serious accidents or fatalities that made you think twice about being involved in drag racing?
Yes, it does come around quite a lot. You would see guys that racing. You'll see accidents in front of you. You see critical ones also. But when you're strapped up in that car, and everything seems to go away. All you focus on is winning. Once you win once, you want to win again. If you lose, you want to win again. So it's all about trying to win and trying to be the best you can be and representing your country. That's what it is about.
Did you face any sort of objection or maybe a reluctance to accept you on the circuit in the United States as an outsider, as a foreigner, whether people might have felt that you merited being among them on the drag racing circuit? Was that an issue also?
Yeah, they start off people were looking at who are these guys from Trinidad coming up here to race, if they know what they're doing, if they can drive those kind of cars and things. But after a while, and getting to know them, and they earn the respect, they eventually accepted you and realized, well, hey, these guys could compete with us, they can win us, and they can also take the sport forward to Trinidad and Tobago. So it was a little reluctant, but eventually it was really nice.
Tell us a bit about your year 2011. You've been voted by the viewers as a sports personality of the year. Give us some of your high points, some of your key achievements in 2011.
Well, it started off on Palm Beach International Race, which is in Palm Beach, Florida. That's where we set the world record, for top drags at the IHR event. We set the record for speed and also for time. So that achievement was awesome for us, to know that we can, put a local team together to race out there against the best in the world and come out on top, not only, win an event, but also set a world record. That would go down the records for Trinidad and Tobago.
So a world record, but apart from that, throughout the year, competing regularly, have you been able to maintain the standard that you would like? Are you up to the level that you would like? Are there greater challenges for you ahead in 2012?
Yeah, but even in 2011, we did finish first in 3 of the main events. 2 of the other events we made it to the finals, and then at Norwalk, Ohio, we were invited as a guest to perform in front of a very large crowd. We did that and competed really nice, and met all the big stars of motorsport, and were greeted and welcomed by all the American fans and American race teams. So I think Trinidad and Tobago is making a name out there for motorsport, and Trinidad and the whole getting some recognition.
Indeed, you're getting some recognition there. Is this the absolute top level in drag racing in the United States where you're competing at right now?
There's a level a little little bit faster. That's right now I'm running on methanol, but there's a level where you can run nitromethane. Nitromethane is nitroglycerine mixed with a small percentage of alcohol or methanol. Those cars can produce maybe 8,000 horsepower. Right now we're negotiating with some teams of us possibly being the driver of one of those cars for early next year. So that alone is really, really exciting. You know, there's few people in the world will ever have an opportunity to drive something like that, or even consider driving something like that and overcoming the fear of that. The fear factor is one of the main stumbling blocks of driving those machines.
Are you looking forward to it? Because I mean, when you just think about it, somebody like me who barely gets up to 80 kilometers an hour driving on the road, to even think of that sort of horsepower behind me, I would just step out of the vehicle and go home. But are you really looking forward to something like that?
Very much. It's like almost a childhood dream, you know, being able to control a machine like that, you know, and survive it. You know, and you know, to think that Trinidad and Tobago could produce a team that would be able to put something like that together and race and be competitive. You know, at a nitromethane level, you have like the U.S. you know, Army racing teams, Schumacher. You have the Allen Abbey racing teams. You have all the big teams out there. And you know, one of the main problems with going to that level is sponsorship. It's not.
How tough has it been to raise the necessary sponsorship, the finance to manage an entire team to produce a competitive car?
It's been very tough, but I must thank, you know, Methanex. You know, they were very helpful. You know, Anna Roberts helped us, you know, quite a lot. You know, through the Ministry of Sports. You know, Total Lubricants, RGB contracted, Mojo's Restaurants, Arrive Alive, PSTL. They were all, you know, so much help came from them and us being able to go forward. So I must thank the sponsors and even our media team, you know, like Rodney Granado of Synergy TV, Narayan of Zoos Magazine. They were all very helpful in supporting us and helping the sport to go forward in terms of the marketing of it. They were very helpful. So
it's really a total team effort in many respects. We're going to talk a little more about that with Sheldon Bisesa when we come back. In a little while, we'll also take some of your calls, your reactions to the fact that Sheldon Bisesa is the overwhelming viewer's choice for TV6 Sports Personality for 2011. We'll be back to talk some more with him and get some of your reactions right here on Sporting Edition.
Motor racing is one of the most
Ain't going to be great. Let's not kid ourselves, but then all eyes will be on 2012
Could never cope with that sort of speed. 740 coming up towards 741 in Trinidad and Tobago. As I say, 80 kilos maximum. Anyway, even on a drag strip. But Sheldon Bisesa goes a lot faster than 80 kilometers. We just had some footage there, as you would have seen, of the start on the drag strip. What was the top speed that you would reach?
The fastest we've been so far is 243 miles an hour in 5.6 seconds, which is pretty awesome.
And the length of the actual drag strip where you're looking to get to the finish line, what length is that?
That's quarter mile, 1,320 feet.
Quarter mile. So essentially, you have to get everything working perfectly. All of the preparations and also the timing, because you've got to anticipate the lights. How it's the same as a sprinter on the starting line waiting for the set and so on. How difficult is it to anticipate?
Well, it's critical. It's critical that you try and get a better reaction time than your opponent. That way you will have a little bit head start on him and a better chance of winning the race.
Tell us a little bit about the training that you have to go through, the physical training, the mental training. What is it like for you as you get set for a major event the days before? What's it like?
Well, you definitely want to be, physically fit, do some running, go a little bit to the gym and, have things in place physically. Mentally, I mean, that's a mindset that would start from young. You would want to do something like that. That is not something you would just want to jump into a race car and do, because you won't survive it. So you need to make up your mind that there's a sport that you love, there's what you love doing, and it's also, I don't like saying a life and death sport, but it's a sport where there's not much room for error. You need to be very, very, very careful with these machines.
Is that part of the thrill of it? Because when you talk to a lot of top-level performers in sports that have an element of danger, they say that the fact that you can be living on the edge is a thrill in itself, and it actually forces you to concentrate even more and really bring out the best in you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's drag racing at that level is definitely something that you have to really want to do. Because the danger is always lurking, it's always around, and you need to be aware of that. And some people like us driven by danger, and fear is exciting, to some people, and that's one of the things that keep you going and going, and you always want to go faster, and you always want to win. So you focus on those things. And
of course, you are doing it in a controlled environment. Unfortunately, in Trinidad and Tobago, we've seen the very tragic consequences of drag racing illegally on highways, San Fernando, other parts along the highway, wherever people could find an open strip, people gather illegally to have drag racing. What would you say to the authorities in Trinidad and Tobago as far as, again, the entire message of a proper racing circuit, for drag racing, for circuit racing? How important is that? Because clearly there are thousands of young men and maybe a few women out there who have this need for speed, but it needs to have a controlled environment. What would you say to people who could make the decisions in the right direction?
Well, first, it started at Wallerfield. They would northern and southern tracks, we started racing, a semi-controlled environment, and different promotional companies, putting on events. And then there was Autosport and Royal Mojave and Ramesh Bowler. They came and they brought proper timing system, and they assisted in preparing the tracks and things, and that pushed the sport a little bit further. But as of then to now, there's no permanent facility or proper professional facility. And I think, maybe it's time we get investors to get together and, work alongside the government and the authorities and putting something together for the, not only for us, but for the youth who want, to get into that and try and stay off the road a little bit, so. Definitely.
And what would you say to those? Because there will be someone will be saying, look, the last thing you want to be doing is to encouraging young people to drive even faster and maybe take that need for speed from the track to the road with tragic consequences. What would you say to those people?
I mean, there's a time and place for everything in life, and racing on the street is definitely not a place to be racing. And hopefully the authorities, as we said before, would get together and offer some sort of facilities where these people can come together and race and do it in a controlled and safe environment.
I don't want you to maybe necessarily get too much into the politics in Trinidad and Tobago, or in fact even the racing politics in Trinidad and Tobago, but is there too much division in the racing fraternity, the motor racing fraternity in Trinidad and Tobago, that prevents the agreement or the settling down to one venue or one site or one proper authority for the sport?
Yes, I mean, it's no different to, almost any country where you'll have, politics and you'll have pulling and tugging and stuff like that. But eventually everybody would need to come together, if the sport is to go forward. You must have full representation and, somebody to govern everything, in each discipline.
Well, let's hope that your achievement will highlight that as well. Remember, we're going to give you the opportunity now to give your own reaction to Sheldon Bisesa being named the TV6 Viewers' Choice Sports Personality of the Year, 627-4106 or 627-8232. We have a caller from Bonaire in Aruca. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead, please. Turn your television down, because you'll be confused by it a little bit, because you'll be hearing your voice coming up after you've spoken. So just turn the television down and go right ahead. Go ahead, Bonaire.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think you're doing the same thing. So let's try another call. Let's try Gasparillo. Good morning, Gasparillo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sheldon, this is Krista, your biggest fan. You know that last Friday I told you we was voting for you, and you're here. Here we go.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So he clearly has a lot of support. Your biggest fan, Crystal, from Gasparillo. How important has that been? The support of the average regular Trinidadian and Tobagonian supporting you in your endeavors outside there.
Yeah, I think recently, maybe the last year or two, we have gotten quite a lot of support, and the sport is getting some some marketing now, and people seem to be appreciating the motorsport or the drag racing on the whole, and what it takes to get to that level and race at that level. So it's nice.
627-4106, 627-8232. Princess Town on the line. Good morning, Princess Town.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I'd like to wish Sheldon all the best. I know that we really back him, and you really deserve that award. Okay.
Thank you very much.
And thanks very much for that call, Princess Town. Let's go to San Juan for another call. Good morning, San Juan.
Hey, Sheldon. This is George here. Congratulations. All the best for the rest of the year.
Yeah, thank you.
Till next year.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
One day, man.
Obviously, it means a lot, Sheldon, for drag racing fans, for motor racing fans in Trinidad and Tobago, because again, despite all of the achievements that would have taken place, it doesn't seem to get a lot of recognition with the general sports media in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, a cricket game would go on for a day or a couple of days. A football game would go on for 90 minutes or more. But drag racing race would go on for 5 seconds. So it's not like you have the world footage to keep running for an entire day. So you get limited coverage in terms of that.
Let's take Shagwanas on the line. Good morning to you, Shagwanas.
Yeah, morning to you, Mr. Mormon.
Good morning.
Morning to you, Bisesa.
Morning.
Yeah, one thing I want to clear with some people. You the Bisesa from St. Margaret?
No, I'm originally from Marbella. Now live in Savanetta.
Marbella, your brother Ian?
Nah, no, brother. That I don't know of.
Relative?
All right, well, I think you're trying to settle something there. Next thing you know, you want to find out, is he any relation to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? You any relation, by the way?
No, I don't think so. I would like to be, but not as of now, no.
Okay, all right. Well, at the moment, he is confirming that he is no relation to the Prime Minister. Before anybody come up with any idea that this selection was politically motivated in any way by the name. But let's go to Powder Magazine, just out in the west, for a reaction. Good morning to you.
Hello, morning.
Good morning.
Listen, I just want to find out what has not hearing nothing more do I am last year. The big racer.
Okay, we're not here. What name is it? You said Ryan.
Ryan Garcia. From SKF.
Yes.
Ryan Garcia.
All right. Well, I can't give you the answer. We're asking your reaction to Sheldon Bisesa's achievements. Please be respectful of that. Pity Valley on the line. Good morning to you, Pity Valley.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I'd like to offer my congratulations to Sheldon Bisesa. This is Roel Mahabir, one of his biggest fans and one who has been pushing him over the years, and finally he's been recognized properly locally.
All right, indeed, Roel Mahabir, who you mentioned just a short while ago, and his own role in motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago. Tell us, before we get our next call, how important is your support team? And what is the size? Is it a Trini-based team? Do you have Americans involved because of where you're based with the drag racing? Tell us about your team.
Well, basically, the entire technical team are made up of Americans only. Our local team is basically supporters and media crews. But Aaron Sipple of Ironman Chassis, he does all the work that is necessary to prepare the car and tune the car. I'm the driver.
So yeah, indeed, it's a team effort. Tuna Puna has been waiting for a little while. Thanks for your patience. Good morning, Tuna Puna.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, just wanted to congrats to Sheldon, and I wanted TV6 to do a little research to find out what is the proper definition for sport. Because, you know, one thing is being taught in the secondary schools in physical education, and yet another thing is going on here. So you need to, from next year, you need to figure out what is a sport before you have your lineup of people being chosen. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Well, I don't think we'll waste too much time on trying to work out what is a sport, because I think everybody is generally aware of what a sport is. And in fact, sport covers the wide gamut. It doesn't have to be what people consider the so-called traditional sports. In fact, in some parts of the world, what we consider traditional sport isn't sport at all. So just keep that in mind. Kuva on the line will be our final call in this segment, congratulating Sheldon Bisessa for his award here on TV6. Good morning to you, Kuva.
Good morning, Mr. Sheldon Bisessa. You are my mentor. You have encouraged me all my life in drag racing. And today, you have made me more proud than ever. Congratulations. I hope we get a track on your name.
That would be something. What would that mean to you, the Sheldon Bisessa drag racing circuit?
I mean, the name, you know, Sheldon Bisessa doesn't, you know, is not that important to me, but more importantly is the sport, you know, going forward, you know, and being able to represent Trinidad and Tobago and have a facility that we could produce, you know, people capable of, you know, challenging the best in the world. That's why it's more important to me.
And of course, when you came in here, you almost appeared overwhelmed by the fact that you have been acknowledged for this award here on TV6, and clearly you've been getting lots of calls about it and being in contention, and people congratulating you and encouraging you. You're now almost a flag bearer for a sport that has been in the background for a long time in Trinidad and Tobago. Are you ready for that sort of responsibility?
Well, I'm glad to know that I'm part of something like that. You know, it's not only about me, it's an entire team and an entire country behind this, and, you know, all the supporters, all the fans, all the competitors, all the people have dreams of, you know, going one day and racing, you know, at those levels. So it's nice to know that, you know, I'm involved, or I'm part of that, you know, in taking the sport forward. It's nice.
Do you think that it will put greater pressure on you? Because now, even if people weren't taking it on before or weren't bothered with it before, in the general sports media in Trinidad and Tobago, there might be greater focus on what you're achieving and more analysis of what you may achieve in 2012. Does that put added pressure on you?
It probably would, but on race day it won't. You know, on race day you're just focused on what you get there to do. But when you're back in Trinidad and you're dealing with the people and stuff, you need to find a way to try to get everybody together and try somehow to you know, encourage people to get involved in the sport, and, you know, hopefully get the investors that would get involved in, you know, putting a facility. Because, I mean, like all other sports, let's say cricket and football, you probably have hundreds of facilities. You have a pool of you know, performers I can choose from, maybe in the thousands, but in motorsport, you know, you probably have one or two people you can choose, you know, to represent, you know, at that kind of level. So it's difficult putting things together. Very difficult. Before
we switch off the ignition on this segment, we want to congratulate you. Congratulations once again, Sheldon, on being the overwhelming winner of the TV6 Viewers' Choice Sports Personality of the Year. And again, 1,499 votes out of just under 2,500, and more votes than the other four combined. He is our overwhelming winner and does a lot for motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago. Will the response be one of greater organization and effectiveness and opportunities for motorsport in TNT in 2012? We'll have to wait and see, and we'll have to wait and see as well how Sheldon performs in 2012, God willing, on the drag racing circuit. Time for us to wrap up this segment here. It's been a really really interesting one to hear about drag racing with Sheldon Bisesa, making it big on the international circuit, on the US circuit. We've got the news for you, then I'll be back to wrap up the program.